Hey, welcome back to 15 Minutes with Dad. We are in a healing series. This is the second part of you guys being a part of this conversation between me and Joe Banks, talking about his healing process with his relationship with his dad. This has been some golden nuggets dropped left and right that we've been talking here. We talked off camera a little bit. We was like, no, we got to bring that back in.
Stop it!
On camera.
You lose all that gold.
Right. Don't waste it on everybody else. But if you have not joined, or if you have not followed us on social media, on every TikTok. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook as well at 15 Minutes with Dad. You can go to YouTube and watch our videos at YouTube 15 Minutes with Dad. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And if you have not, visit 15minuteswithdad.com to take the pledge yourself to spend 15 minutes with your dad, or your dad, you as a father should spend 15 minutes with your child a day, a month, a week. Spend 15 minutes, and that 15 minutes would be very impactful of quality time to build your family. We love you. We are about to get into it. Thank y'all for joining 15 Minutes with Dad. Welcome back to 15 Minutes with Dad. Joe Banks here. Let's get into it, man. We were talking about the family structure and how that impacts your relationship with your dad. Family structure, how it impacted your dad / impacted you. Let's get into it, man.
All right, yeah.
So tell us what you feel, or how you feel that how your family structure kind of like molded your dad first.
So father's side, because of my separation from them after the violence and after him in his incarceration, that even for like the split time that I had with them when I sought them out when I was 17, it felt like this. I guess I envisioned them like maybe over time, maybe they've learned from their mistakes, maybe they've learned some accountability. Even me as like 17, like, okay, like I know this thing has happened, but it was clear that my father loved me. Mm-hmm. It was clear that this father side of the family loved me. The way that they showed love, though, was a lack of accountability, which is a weird way to show that you care about somebody. Doesn't really prepare them so much for the world. I guess I get, you're not used to me. You're not used to how my mother, raised me. So it just seemed like from how my mother raised me and how much I loved how she raised me. Like I said, mama's boy for life. It was in stark contrast to what this family was trying to provide. It just felt like, no, this doesn't. It seems so good that she seems.
Was there a gap between between incarceration time? Did y'all separate from that family?
Yeah. So when he became incarcerated when I was 6 years old, I don't see this family again until I'm 17. So that's 11 years, like right there. Yeah. And then the next time I reached out to them was I was stationed in Texas. And one of the things I wanted to do before I have to go shipped off to war again was like, okay, let's try this thing again. But this time I'm actually going to meet my father. So I did some research, like I did some, hey, where's everybody at kind of thing. So I went to them again, and I'm like, I want to work on something where I can go see him, because I have not set eyes on him since I was 6.
Right.
And that's its own beast itself. But I'm like, all right, I don't know what I'm going to say to this person. And I don't know what we could even talk about. Like, but this is what I want for myself. I don't know what I want for him, but let me take that back. I want that whole feeling that I've been searching. Yeah. So maybe like even looking at him, maybe if it's even me cussing them the hell out.
Right.
It's like, I got that out of me. Like, you know what? I feel better.
Right.
The problem was, I find out I have 3 other brothers.
Whoa.
Yeah.
In the meantime?
So how did it work? I am the third of 4 children.
Wow. You didn't know this at 6?
I did not know. I knew I had a little brother when I was 6.
Okay.
Like he had another kid with another woman at this time, which that was above board, I guess. But there were 2 before me. And there's even dispute on that one.
Right.
But like in this trip, I meet both of them. 2 of them are older than me. So out of the 4, number 3. The oldest one is 6 months older than me.
Whoa.
So if this is all true, then like that would mean like, okay, you were seeing someone else while you were seeing my mom.
Yeah.
There was also someone in between that. So even a little slightly older than me. Like something in between there. And I learned that this child was put up for adoption. A closed one, and I did a trying to find them. It's a closed adoption, so
right.
I don't know. There's another banks out there that I don't know.
Right.
They disowned them. I am the 3rd child, but I got my father's name.
Right.
So there's some like, what the hell? Like, why would the 3rd child carry on the next name? It just felt like a weird thing to do. It felt very cynical.
And in some cases, it's almost like I'm with this is the person I'm supposed to be with. I'm screwing over her, but I don't want her to feel like I'm not with her. So I'm gonna make her feel like she's the only one. Name this child like we're the only one, but in fact,
yes, yeah, like. It even made me wonder, like, okay, well, what is my name even? Like, what does it even matter? Like, like I am who I am, so I decide what my name is. But that took some time to figure out.
Right.
And then the youngest, about 7 years younger than me, like I get to meet him, and he was in the impression that my father was dead.
Wow.
So in this trip that I'm trying to, find my peace, I'm now. I have a little brother that I didn't know, like I didn't know was going to be in my life like he was at this time, in this like span of a week of figuring out this stuff with my father.
Right.
That now I'm playing Big Brother.
Right. Unraveling lies and trying to be the big brother.
In the midst of this, and it's like, okay. God, so I'm not mad at my brothers for this. It's like, this is not anyone's particular fault as far as our brothers, but we did visit my father in jail, in my prison. Yeah. Okay. With the family, and terrifying mixed with, I don't even know what I'm really doing here. Sure. I want to cuss you out, but like now I have a little brother here who thought you were dead. So I placed his needs above mine, but I got some questions answered. And I'll tell you, my father, darker than me, he has like royal blue eyes. Mm-hmm. And I remember this as a kid, and I know like it was always weird to me that my dark-skinned father, like 110% black, has blue eyes, which I didn't know that was a thing. And then, seeing this again and knowing who he is, it's like it made me kind of afraid of like black people with blue eyes. Like it's like, it's so beautiful. Like I'd go date women and like, we're going to have kids, and like, you can have blue eye. We can have a blue-eyed baby. I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of that. Right. Just because of that. Cause like that brings up some things, but like, it's not, that's,
and it's like it's a trivial aspect of having a child, but it's something that kind of uproots this thing. That's a lot, man. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the space for this.
How long? Yeah, right. That's what this is. That's what this is for. But to even let's take some steps back, because it's important for you to understand how you felt, or if, to kind of unravel those different moments of how you felt. Like you unraveled that you had brothers around the same time. It created this idea, this even more negative idea of this man that you were preparing to go see. Mm-hmm. And then the lies that are associated with it, most likely the family kept those lies up, because there may have been some point where this child would want to reach out to the family of his father. Even if his father's dead, there's still aunties and uncles that exist, right? But there was obviously like in a shame. There was people that were ashamed of his interaction with with their interaction with your father?
Their response to it was similar to how they treated my mom, where it's like, yeah, it happened, but ask the Lord for forgiveness.
And how did so let's talk, like, so your mom was extremely impactful, in your life. Shout out to moms.
Yep. Love you, Ma. On TV, like I'm sorry.
So extremely impactful to your mom, and then you had this family that's upkeeping this unruly person, right? Like, and what was their reaction? Like, what is their interaction with her when she was like, "Yo, y'all aren't telling the truth. Y'all are being fake." Obviously, I know that could cause some backlash from a family being passive aggressive about how they're upkeeping somebody that is of the nature of your dad.
So when my mom brought me over to this family at 17, there was a lot of animosity between my mom and the rest of the father's side of the family. Mom, bless her heart, did all she could to keep like her opinion to herself. That when we talked about it later, her reasoning was she didn't want to have her askewed view have an impression on my decision on how I interact with the family.
Let's stop right there, man. That's beautiful. That's like, beautiful.
I'm like, why? I remember, like, why would you do that if they did all these things to you? Like, you deserve to be mad, and like all the things are just like, it's not at this point it's not about me, and it was a mix of her sort of making her peace with that, and like the love that she had for me meant that much for her to like quell this enough to try this out.
Say that again for the people. Your mom, she put aside her own views, her own opinions about this man who caused a great deal of trauma.
Yes.
Kids on the side, the whole 9 yards. And again, I am not trying to talk. I'm not trying to talk about you. I'm just trying to put this into perspective, man. Like, a mother put her own opinion aside. I almost want to cry, because that is hard to do, man. That's hard to do.
I don't know if definitely at that time I couldn't do it. And just that is love. And then there's it makes me want to do more for her.
Yeah.
More for the mama's boy side of me. And eventually, like, her on her end, eventually going to therapy too. In fact, like when I felt like it was time for me to start unpacking things, it was like a journey for both of us. On like, okay, hey, let's, like, it's scary, it's weird.
Talk to her about different stuff that you were kind of talking through.
Let's go, like, hey, you got your own therapist, like, I'll go get mine, like, okay, and just, hey, look at us, just like figuring stuff out. It's scary.
Right.
But just we've had that kind of life where, hey, we can share these things with each other. Even learn to, like, hey, let's have some boundaries up for ourselves and between each other too. But like, this is, I have never experienced that kind of love at that time where like someone just felt like they had to, basically suck it up to do that. And it's like,
she has every right to feel all these things.
Every right to do this.
Hey, let me tell you the truth about your dad. Mm-hmm. And even though I feel like there should be truth, right? I feel like there are times that there should be like, hey, your dad ain't coming, that kind of thing, or he ain't gonna make it, like, because that's the truth, right? But at the same time, to really say like, this man is atrocious man, and I'm keeping you from him because he's terrible. That's hard to do when you're already feeling so much trauma, and her knowing that, well, he's going to cascade his own, and I tell every parent that I've talked to, fathers or not, when I engage with different fathers, if you haven't joined a group, we have a few father groups out there called Black Fatherhood, or Black Fathers on Facebook. Right. 98,000 members.
Ooh.
And we give advice to young fathers, older fathers. We like really bring you in and give you the raw, real answers. You get a bunch of answers for any question you ask, and you can choose which ones relate to you, but it will always be love. Black Fathers on Facebook, or you can, we have also the Fatherhood, golly, it's another one, I can't even remember. I wish I should have.
It'll come to us.
Yeah, it'll come to us. But
it's a goal dropping day, so
right,
like, we'll come out.
And I say this all the time, specifically about when it's dealing with separate parents, is that no matter what, you do. And even like even in my relationship, so my girlfriend, she has two kids by her previous husband, and you know, she's navigating how to co-parent, right? I've been co-parenting for like 14 years, but she's at the beginning of her co-parenting journey. And I had to let her know, like, okay, he's a crappy guy, but you have to let him be that crappy guy to his children, because that molds your kids to see the dynamics of father and mother. That's their life, to really absorb that and kind of navigate that negativity. But kids will always figure it out, like, okay, the way that my parents are, the way my father is, I don't like that. I'm not going to engage with him. Or I like that, and I may engage like him, but it's not our job to like say, hey, you don't need to have that experience with that bad dad or that weird dad. As a parent, it's not our job to do that. It's a child's like journey to like say and make those decisions over time. I mean, obviously, if, you know, father's a murderer, you know, there's extreme cases where you should like, definitely say
you gotta go over.
Your dad's dangerous. Yeah, let's not do that. So.